So good morning. So today we'll continue our numerical practice. So yesterday we have seen one numerical. So two numericals. Now we'll practice some additional numericals. So this is the statement of next numerical. An air compressor takes in air at 1 bar and 20 degrees Celsius and compresses it according to the law PV raised to 1.2 is equal to C. It is then delivered to a receiver at a constant pressure of 10 bar. Characteristics gas constant R is equal to 0.287 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. Determine temperature at the end of compression, work done and heat transferred during compression per kilogram of air. So what is the difference between this numerical and previous two numerical? So if you compare, then it is similar to the previous numerical. Only difference is that here we have to find one more additional parameter, that is heat transferred during compression per kilogram of the air. Now that is the additional term that we have to determine. Again, whatever equation we have listed in previous lecture, again we have discussed that equation in previous lecture. So all that equation once again we have to recall to solve these numericals. So it is expected that everyone has listed that equation in your notebook, and that notebook or list of equation is with you right now. Now what is the given data for this numerical? So this is the pressure P1, it is again 1 bar. So convert this pressure from bar to Pascal. So 1 bar is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square, or it is 1 bar is equal to 1 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Then this is the temperature T1, it is 20 degrees Celsius. Again we have to convert this temperature from degree Celsius to degree Kelvin. So we have to add 273. So this temperature T1 is 20 plus 273. So it is 293 degree Kelvin. Then the law of compression is PV raised to 1.2 is equal to C. Again we have to compare this with PV raised to N is equal to C. So value of the polytropic index small n, it is 1.2. It is then delivered to a receiver. So that's why the pressure P2 is 10 bar. Again we have to convert this pressure from bar to Pascal. So P2 is 10 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal, or that is P2 is equal to 10 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Then value of characteristic gas constant is 0.287 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin, or we can write this in joule per kg per Kelvin. So that is 287 joule per kg per Kelvin. Now in order to find all this relation, first of all we have to find the mass of air required. So by general gas equation, so since pressure P1 is known to us, then temperature T1 is known to us, pressure P2 is known to us, again characteristics gas is constant is given to us. So in order to find the mass, we will refer the general gas equation, that is PV is equal to MRT. Again in order to find work, we have to refer the expression in terms of temperature or in terms of pressure ratio. Again the additional term, that is heat transfer during compression, in order to find this additional term we have to refer here first law of thermodynamics. So according to that first law of thermodynamics, that is Q is equal to W plus delta U. So this is the equation suggested by first law of thermodynamics. So this equation we have to refer in order to find heat transfer. So Q is the heat transfer, again W is the work required for compressor, and delta U is the change in internal energy. Now how to find change in internal energy? So delta U is equal to M into CV into delta T. So again M is mass of the air, then CV is specific heat of air at constant volume. Since here the characteristics gas constant capital R is 0.287 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin, so accordingly we can select the value of CV, that is specific heat at constant volume for air, it is 0.718 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. Again Cp, that is specific heat at constant pressure for air, if it is not specified then we take that value as 1.005 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. Now here in order to find change in internal energy, we have to refer the specific heat at constant volume, that is Cv is equal to 0.718 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. So we can find here change in internal energy, again work by the previous relation, and we can substitute the value of internal energy and work so that we can find the heat transferred. Now let us proceed for the solution. Now temperature T1, it is converted from degree Celsius to degree Kelvin. So it is 20 plus 273, so 293 Kelvin. Then pressure is 1 bar. Again we have to convert this from bar to Pascal. So 1 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Pressure P2 10 bar. So 10 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Again law of compression is PV raised to 1.2 is equal to C. So if you compare this with PV raised to N is equal to C, then value of polytropic index N is 1.2. So this is the characteristic gas constant. It is 0.287 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin, or that is 287 joule per kg per Kelvin. Now we know the relation between temperature ratio and pressure ratio considering the polytropic compression. So what is that relation? It is T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to n minus 1 by n. Again here we know the value of pressure P2, it is 10 bar. We know the value of pressure P1, it is 1 bar. Again we know the polytropic index small n, it is 1.2. So substitute the value of all these variables, and again we know the temperature T1, that is 293. So from that we will get the temperature T2, that is 430 degree Kelvin, or it is 157 degree Celsius. Now in order to find the work or power required for compressor, we know the expression for work or power required for compressor in terms of, that is n upon n minus 1 mRT1 P2 by P1 n minus 1 by n minus 1. Now capital R is with us. Again T1 temperature is 293, small n, that is polytropic index, is 1.2, pressure P2 is known to us, pressure P1 is also known to us. Now here we can initially refer, or we will find this parameter for unit mass of the air, and after that we will find for total mass of the air. So considering the unit mass, so we can find here the work is equal to 1 into 0.287 into 293, 1.2 upon 1.2 minus 1 in bracket 10 by 1 raised to 1.2 minus 1 divided by 1.2 minus 1. So when we calculate accordingly, here we get that is work, it is 236.13 kilojoule per kilogram of the air. This is for unit mass of the air. So if you know the mass of the air, then we can find the total work required. So how we will find the mass of the air? So for that we can use the general gas equation, that is P1 V1 is equal to mRT1. So from that expression we can find the total mass, and we can multiply this value by total mass, so that we can find the total power required for the compressor. Now we have to find here the heat transfer. So just we have discussed, we have to refer the equation suggested by first law of thermodynamics. So according to the equation suggested by first law of thermodynamics, Q is equal to W plus delta U, where Q is the heat transfer, W is the work required for the compressor, and delta U is change in internal energy. Again work transfer, that already we have estimated here, so that directly value that we can consider here, or we can write the basic relation for work transfer in terms of pressure and volume. So it is P1 V1 minus P2 V2 by n minus 1. Again change in internal energy for unit mass of this air, it is CV into T2 minus T1. Again the CV is specific heat at constant volume, so this value is 0.718 kilojoule per kg per Kelvin. T2 is just we have calculated is 430 Kelvin, and this T1 is given to us in the data, it is 293. So substitute the value of all these variables, and accordingly we can find here the value of this Q, it is minus 0.9823 kilojoule per kilogram. Again it is for unit mass of the air. Now why negative sign is here, or what is the significance of this negative sign? So that negative sign indicates that the heat is rejected, so during the compression. Now this is the solution for first numerical. Now let us proceed for the next numerical. This is the statement of next numerical. An air compressor cylinder has 150 mm bore diameter, 150 mm stroke. The clearance is 15%. It operates between 1 bar 27 degrees Celsius and 5 bar. Take polytropic exponent, that is small n is 1.3 for compression and expansion process. Find cylinder volume at all points in a cycle, flow rate in meter cube per minute at 720 rpm, and the volumetric efficiency of the compressor. Now what is the difference between this numerical and previous numerical? So we will find here this numerical is on reciprocating compressor with clearance, because here clearance factor is given, it is 15%. Rest of the data is similar to previous numerical. Means here now we have to practice the numerical on reciprocating compressor considering the clearance. Now what is the data? This is the diameter D, cylinder diameter D. It is 150 millimeter. Again convert this 1 millimeter to meter, so it is 0.15 meter. This is the stroke, that is capital L, 150 millimeter, so it is 0.15 meter. Then clearance factor, it is capital C, 15%, or capital K. So what is this clearance factor? It is the ratio of clearance volume to the swept volume. So this ratio is 15%. Means it is the value of capital K or capital C. Then pressure P1, it is 1 bar. Again we have to convert this pressure from 1 bar to Pascal. So 1 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Then temperature 27 degrees Celsius. So again we have to convert this temperature from degree Celsius to degree Kelvin. So we have to add 273. So temperature T1 is 27 plus 273. So it is 300 Kelvin. And this is the pressure P2, 5 bar. Again we have to convert this pressure from 5 bar to Pascal. So 5 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Then here the polytropic index is 1.3. It is for compression as well as for the expansion process. So here it is PV raised to N is equal to 1.3 for compression as well as PV raised to 1.3 for expansion, because we know that PV diagram for the compressor considering the clearance. So during the study of theory of the compressor, we have seen the modified diagram for the reciprocating compressor with clearance. So that diagram we have to refer here. Now we have to find volume of air at all the points in a cycle. So we have to consider PV diagram, and in PV diagram we have the 4 important points, that is point 1, 2, 3, 4, or point D, A, B, C as per our theory discussion. So we have to find volume at all these points. Then again we have to find flow rate. Indirectly it is the free air delivery, that is at 720 rpm, and we have to find volumetric efficiency. Again, in order to find volumetric efficiency, we have to refer the relation in terms of clearance factor, and again in terms of pressure ratio. Again, in order to find volume at all points, we have to take into account the basic thermodynamic process. So we have to take into account the basic thermodynamic process during suction. It is isobaric process. Again, we have to refer the relation between pressure and volume and temperature for isobaric process. That is what, when pressure is constant, then volume is directly proportional to temperature. So that relation we have to refer. Again, we have to refer the relation for compression, that is for isothermal compression, PV raised to 1.3 is equal to C. Again we have to refer the relation for the pressure, volume and temperature during discharge and during expansion. So considering this basic relation for the various basic thermodynamic process, we can find volume at all the points. So this is the data. So capital D is the diameter, it is 150 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter, or it is 0.15 meter. Again stroke is 150 millimeter or 150 to 10 raised to minus 3 meter or 0.15 meter. Then since clearance factor is given, so clearance factor is 15%, means it is the ratio of clearance volume to the swept volume. So accordingly we can write here the clearance volume VC is equal to 0.15 Vs, since clearance factor is 15%. Then P1 pressure, it is 1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Then pressure P2 is 5 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Temperature T1, it is 27 plus 273, 300 Kelvin. Then speed 720 rpm, and the law of compression and expansion is PV raised to N is equal to C. So value of small n is 1.3. Then we have to find first all the volumes, that is volume V1, V2, V3, V4. Then free air delivery and the volumetric efficiency. Now first, since we know the diameter, the stroke and speed, from that we can write the swept volume as pi by 4 d square L into N. This Vs is equal to pi by 4 d square L into N. This is the swept volume. So substitute the value of D, it is 0.15 meter. Substitute the value of capital L, it is 0.15 meter. Again the speed is 720 rpm. So when you substitute and calculate, then accordingly the swept volume Vs is 1.908 meter cube. Then we have to find the clearance volume. Since the relation between clearance volume and swept volume is given, this is from the clearance factor again. So Vc is 0.15, value of Vs just we have calculated, so it is 1.9085. So 0.15 into 1.9085, so this clearance volume is 0.2862 meter cube per minute. Now from that we can find the total volume is the sum of clearance volume and swept volume. So it is 0.2862 plus 1.9085. So from this we can write the volume V1, it is 2.1948 meter cube per minute. Now we have to find other volume, that is V2, V3 and V4. Now in order to find the volume V2, again we have to refer the relation between pressure and volume during polytropic compression. So it is PV raised to N. So from that we can write P1 V1 raised to N is equal to P2 V2 raised to N. So P1 is with us, it is 1 into 10 raised to 5. V1 just we have calculated. Pressure P2 is also given, it is 5 into 10 raised to 5. So substitute the value of P2, then P1 and V1, and the polytropic index small n, it is 1.3. So from that we can find the value of V2, that is volume 2. So accordingly when you substitute the value, then the V2 is 0.2862 meter cube per minute. Sorry, V2 is 0.6366 meter cube per minute. Again the clearance volume we have calculated. This clearance volume is also equal to volume V3. So directly we can write volume V3, it is 0.2862 meter cube per minute. Then again in order to find the volume V4, we have to refer the relation during expansion. So it is PV raised to N is equal to C. So accordingly we can write P3 V3 raised to N is equal to P4 V4 raised to N. Again V3, that we have just V3 is equal to Vc, then P4 is equal to, because we know the for constant pressure process P2 is equal to P3 and P1 is equal to P4. So directly this relation is similar to the previous relation. Accordingly V4 we can write as V3 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to 1 by N. So substitute the value of P3 as P2 and P4 as P1. Again we know the value of V3. So from this V3, then from P2 and P1, and from the polytropic index small n, so we can write the volume V4, it is 0.98674 meter cube per minute. So we have calculated volume at all the points. So we have calculated volume V1, then volume V2, then volume V3, then volume V4. Now we have to find the volumetric efficiency. So we know that the relation for volumetric efficiency in terms of clearance factor. So it is 1 plus K minus K P2 by P1 raised to 1 by N. So this expression also we have derived in our theory discussion. So that expression directly we have to refer here. Again this clearance factor is given to us, it is 15%. If required we may calculate that clearance factor from VSC and VS calculated. So it is similar to that. Again it is coming 0.1499. So that is around 0.15. But directly since the value of clearance factor is given in the statement, we can substitute that value here, and from this we can find the volumetric efficiency. So it is 63.3%. Now once we calculate the volumetric efficiency, then we can calculate the free air delivery from volumetric efficiency, because we know that volumetric efficiency is equal to free air delivery, that is FAD upon Vs. So volumetric efficiency is with us and swept volume is with us. So from that we can find the free air delivery, that is FAD. So this is the expression for volumetric efficiency in terms of free air delivery and swept volume. So Vs is we have calculated. Again volumetric efficiency just we have calculated. Substitute the values of volumetric efficiency and the swept volume. Accordingly we can write here free air delivery, that is FAD is equal to 1.2083 meter cube per minute. So in this way we have calculated all the parameters as required in the statement of the numerical. Now for the next numerical. Now we have seen around 3 to 4 numericals on compressor. Now what I will suggest, you must practice some numerical at home. So that's why let us consider one numerical for practice at home. So this is the statement of numerical. A single stage, single acting air compressor with cylinder diameter 15 cm and stroke 20 cm runs at 200 rpm. Air is drawn in at 1 bar and 25 degrees Celsius. Air is delivered at 6 bar. Law of compression is PV raised to 1.3 is equal to C. So determine indicated power required to drive the compressor in kilowatt and discharge volume. Now this numerical you have to practice at home. Just I will suggest the data and how to proceed, that I will suggest. Rest of the practice you have to complete at home. Now here it is a single stage compressor again. This is the diameter D, it is 15 centimeter. So convert this diameter from centimeter to meter, so it is 0.15 meter. This is capital L, it is 20 centimeter. So write this in meter, it is 0.2 meter. This is the speed, capital N, it is 200 rpm. Then this is the pressure P1, it is 1 bar. So convert this pressure from bar to pascal. So to P1 is 1 into 10 raised to 5 pascal. This is the temperature T1, 25 degrees Celsius. Again convert this temperature from degree Celsius to degree Kelvin. So 25 plus 273. Then this is the discharge pressure P2. Again convert this pressure P2 from bar to pascal. So it is P2 is equal to 6 into 10 raised to 5 pascal, or 6 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Again law of compression is given, PV raised to 1.3 is equal to C. So compare this with PV raised to 1, PV raised to N is equal to C. So the polytropic index is small n, that is 1.3. Now we have to find indicated power required for the compressor in kilowatt, and we have to find the discharge volume. So in order to find indicated power to drive the compressor in kilowatt, we have seen similar numerical in previous lecture. So refer that numerical in order to find the indicated power. Then again we have to find discharge volume. So this discharge volume is nothing but again the volume of air that is discharged for our application. Now this hint is given to you. So let us practice this numerical at home. So today we'll stop here. Thank you.